Hello guys, so we're going to be doing a Zefra mirror matchup, me and Musa. We decided this out of like nowhere. He just said he wanted to do a Zefra mirror matchup, but he wanted to showcase some of the lesser known Zefra variants. Some of these are like really awful, some of these are like decently competitive, so we might be showcasing some of them, but some of them are quite awful, so don't show, don't ask for like fairy tale Luna Zefra like you can see on screen. So we're both going to be spinning the wheel. We're not going to reveal what variant we're on, but we both know we're on a Zephyr variant. We're going to deck build, and then we're going to play the match out. So I'm going to see what happens, and then I'll be commentating the match in replay. So, yep. So let's spin the wheel, see what I get, and I get. Yeah, this one's. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too well versed in this one, but I'll figure it out. But yeah, we're going to move into the deck building process. So. I start in this duel here, so obviously I rolled Tracer, Zephyr, we don't know what Musa rolled. Just gonna start with showing my hand. So I was told by Musa that I went the wrong build. So Tracer Zephyr, for me, that I thought that was chaos with like a quick launch Tracer engine with some dragons and some chaos dragons and some stuff like that. But apparently I got confused with Light Swan Zephyr, which was like another terrible variant. And Tracer Zephyr is something different, but like when I asked Musa about it, he didn't really know, he couldn't really remember exactly what it did, so we just decided to like play like this because we had already built the deck, we had already like played the duel out, so and obviously the loss, the surprise factor would have been gone if we had to redo it, so so my hand's pretty awful here. I have like a line where my only line is to make Light Sworn Minerva here, because otherwise I'm just ending on Divine Strike, so I go make Minerva. I can actually use the Oracle of Zephyr effect to draw one, discard one here, so I draw one and discard the Recharger. And because I'm so much better than Musa, I mill 3 Light Swans off Minerva, so that means I get 3 draws. Unfortunately, all the draws were awful, because I had already used Providence that turn. Snow's kind of dead in my hand. If I had spent more time on this deck, maybe I would have like considered playing Borg Blocker, because it's a Dark Machine for Curious, and it also gets like cards out of my hand. Because I have no way of getting Snow out of my hand here, so I go Light Brigade and I mill Destrudo, Zephyrath, and Trick Clown, which is just like nutty mills. So we go to some of the Trick Clown and we go Destrudo target the new, I think I messed up my life points because I realized later I was supposed to pay 1,000 for Trick Clown, so I should be at 3,500 at the end of the turn. But instead I go to 3,000, so a bit of a mess up by me. So I go to Struder, bring back, target the new, and I go to make Shooting Riser. Um, I would usually send the snow off that, but because I had the snow in hand, probably would have just sent something else because I have loads of different targets. Could have just sent could have sent anything else to be honest. I think Moose was scared of the snow though, so it's correct to gamble there because that kind of just ended my turn. I had no other play. I did have a Dweller line, but because we know it's a Zefra mirror, I know that Dweller's not going to do much, so I just decided to keep everything in hand. So, so I only had like 10 minutes to build this deck, and I felt like it could have been done a lot better. Because we had a rule where we're not allowed to use variants on other uh, we're not allowed to use other variants. So there's a Punk Zephyr variant, which is like much more recent, and I'm not allowed to use the Punk engine, even though I would in this type of build, because this deck's just basically chaos using a Divine Strike Zephyr engine with some cool things like going into Gallon Granite. So Musa goes Pen 4 here. Um, I should have maybe Divine Strike to Zephyr activation or Oracle, but he would have got Pen Summon new past Divine Strike anyway, so Musa decides to chain block the Raxi rather than chain blocking the new, so he can go Horus line. I think he had a maybe he thought he had FTK. He had a kill here because I'm at 3,000. Should be at 3,500, but I get to choose what to give him off Horus. So I choose to give him Minerva because he can't overlay into Sheridan off Minerva, and Minerva can't attack. I forgot that Minerva can attack, but well, my main thing was that I had a feeling that he had game if you went Sheridan send Trick Clown, then Sheridan F to take my Trick Clown. But because of how triggers work as turn player, he would have to do it as Chainlink 1, then Trick Clown would be Chainlink 2, so I'd be able to bring him back and survive anyway. So, and yeah, unfortunately Musa just couldn't get anything, so he just opened like all Zefra cards. If you can't tell by now, what Musa rolled from the looks of it is Sky Striker Zefra, so this is Chaos slash Tracer Zefra versus Sky Striker Zefra. We'll see in game 2 what the point of the Sky Striker engine is. I don't believe you actually play Ray or anything, so I go normal Tracer and I make Striker Dragon, so I didn't actually like. So I go Striker, second effector, add back the Tracer, and I realised I messed up here. It was a small thing. Um, it doesn't. It just gives me like something to pop off Tracer, I guess, in the boot sector. But I thought I had the Rocket in the deck, so that's why I went that Striker line to try and get the Recharger from deck. But I messed up, so I didn't realise I already milled the Recharger, and that's my only Rocket target. So instead, I just make Chaos Ruler with those two. I bring back Trick Clown, and I go Chaos Ruler. I mill the Destruder again, and then I add the Gate 0, so that's my scale. I do Zephyr effect. I scale the Gate 0, I'm going to summon Performage Hat Tricker, and then I'm going to summon Destrudo. I think I messed up my zone placements and like clogging up my zones, because I can just pen summon like Snow and Raiden from hand, link into access code, then summon the Performage Hat Tricker, but I had game regardless. I had more than enough for game, so I could kind of just play it how I wanted at this point, because I have access code Chaos Ruler, like, so. That's game on board there. So game 2, don't open any going second cards because this deck sucks. I recommend you don't play this variant, and I don't recommend you don't play the Sky Striker variant either. This is just some fun variants we decided to put on the wheel. So there are some good ones, some bad ones. So Moose is on Sky Striker, so you don't actually play Ray in that variant, you just play Forward Skipper, and so you reveal a Striker link, you use Forward Skipper for a Striker monster, and then you add Exceed, and then you can go into Hayate and Shizuku, so it's going to go into Hayate, and to trigger the Exceed, summoning another Exceed. You may be asking, what's the point of that? Well, it's all a very extravagant way to add a Zefrath of Gallant Granite. You have like other options, you can go Baguska. Yeah, so he banished the Baguska of Prosperity. His extra deck must be tight, but I think he like bricked here and he needed access to scale, so he went banish Baguska, go Gallant Granite, add Zefrath. So it's kind of like what other level 4, like other ways to access Gallant Granite with like better versions, like better variants are like decks that play normal summon engines like Muskets and Madolches. that are less bricky. But this is like a funnier variant. So Musa doesn't have access to pen summon new, so instead he has to pen summon Raxi and Core, and he goes Raxi, make Core a tuner, Core summon the Wendy, and that way he can turn them all into a level 10. He's gonna link climb into Shizuku, and at end phase, grab engage for follow up. Yep, engage for follow up. So I don't know what the set is. I assume it's Divine Strike because he makes a Cheng. Because Divine Strike banishes from the extra deck, you can use Cheng on a new chain link to banish one from field, one from grave. So I assumed it was Divine Strike. So I'm playing with that in mind. So I go normal Dark Worm, add gate 0. I go special the Perform Age, and because I can just do that again, this is not once per turn. And then I overlay those into Minerva. So I'm going to see what I can mill. I don't get as lucky as I did game 1, made a bit of a mistake there shuffling. So I hit 1 Light Sworn, so that's 1 draw. Doesn't really get me anything though because Oracle Zefra. So I'm going to use Oracle Zefra to grab Zefrath. Activate the Zefrath, use Zefrath. And he's Moose is going to use Chain War to the effect of Zefrath, popping it so it won't resolve. And I don't really have a play past this. So I just decide to go battle phase. He lets me redo the attacks. I realized that Cheng reduces and Shizuku reduces, so Dark One would just crash and kill itself. So I decided to just go Minerva beat over Shizuku. Main phase 2, I just go Striker to add a Boot Sector. At this point, I just pass because I don't really have a line past this. I don't believe. Like looking back on it now, could I have done anything? No, I couldn't have done anything really. There was no like. I could go Providence grab Divine Strike was maybe something I should have done. Yeah, I should have gone Providence Search Divine Strike. I don't know why I didn't do that. But never mind. So Musa has follow up here. So he's going to go Gallant Granite, grab Zefrath. He's going to link them both into Lambda. And then he's going to go Engage. He only has 1 spell engrave, so unfortunately it's not a draw. Just going to grab a Widow Anchor. He's going to go Afterburners, pop the Striker. He's going to go Zefrath. Then he's going to Scale New. Put back Raxi into the extra. He's going to pen summon 2 into the 2 hours. So he's going to pen summon Wendy and Raxi. He's going to go Raxi, target Wendy. Wendy, add back Zefra Core. He hasn't used his normal summon, so normal Zefra Core, and he actually uses the summon effect of Zefrath here, where if you contribute all monsters you control, at least 3 Zefra monsters to special summon it from the extra deck. And then you can immediately, you get an extra pen summon for that turn, basically, if you summon Zefrath. Which would sound good if he didn't clog up the extra monster zone. So what he's going to do is he's going to use the Anchor to take my Minerva, because he controls, I believe he controls 3 spells. And then he's going to use Zefrath's other effect to tribute a monster he controls. So he's going to tribute the Minerva he took to special a Zefra monster from the main deck. So now he's got his access to Zefranu, and he still has an extra pen summon. So now he can finally pen summon Zefranu. He's thinking about changing it, but he just decides to go to Zefranu anyway. So he's going to make Beyond. He's thinking about whether using the Beyond effect here, because he could still technically pen summon new under it, but decides not to. So he's just gonna pen summon 2 and not use the Beyond effect. So I think he had this game if he just went for Path, but he decided to do something funny. He decided to go Providence into Divine Strike. He decided to pen summon Zefra Core to special summon the Zefrano in the scale, so he could summon Zefrath again, because his summoner's condition, it's just a summoning condition, so he can do it as many times as he wants. And then at that point, his board is Omni Negate, Big Boy Pass. So a bit trolling here. I think Musa had this game if he really wanted to, but he just decided to summon Zefrath twice, because why not? You don't get to summon him that often, so when you do, you want to milk it. And so I top deck Ravine. I go Ravine, pitch the Wolf to send the Tracer. So now my Boot Sector has something to summon. Moose is thinking about negating it, decides not to. I'm going to activate Boot Sector here to summon the Tracer from the grave. I'm going to activate Oracle of Zefra. This is going to negate that. This is why you hold the Providence for 2 turns, guys. So you can do this. Activate another Oracle Zephyr because the activation was negated. Gonna activate Zefra here. Pen some new. I believe I just grabbed Divine Strike. This is where my mistake was. Because Musa has a Providence in the grave, it's kind of hard to out this Zefrath, because it can be protected from one pop effect. So originally I was going to go Barone pop it, but I realized Providence could protect it. And if I had just gone Providence search to Zefrath instead of Providence search Oracle search Zefrath, then I would be able to go Zefrano search Oracle, Oracle search Satellarknight Thubin, because I don't believe I've normal summoned yet. I would then normal summon Thubin, pop the Zefrath, Musa would protect it with Providence, then I would make Barone and pop the Zefrath, and at that point he'd be top decking against the Barone. So instead I have to search Divine Strike because I messed up, and I go Tracer, pop my Oracle, summon the Recharger, and I have another line instead, which is make a Savage Dragon, equip the Striker Dragon. That's 3500 attack, so he can still protect the Zefrath, but Savage is at 3500. Any top deck scale will just get negated by Savage, and if he attempts to use Zefrath effect, then I can just negate it with Divine Strike. So at this point he knows he's lost, so he's just gonna admit defeat here, I believe. Yeah. Top deck was Ibly, sliding Ibly. That's what the pure variants do, to be fair. But yeah, that was Chaos Zefra versus Striker Zefra. So both are very awful variants that were created quite a while ago. That were just some fun variants, I think. I feel like I could have built this Chaos variant a lot better if I had spent more time on it, but I only spent like 10 minutes on it because we spin a wheel and then we build the deck immediately and then we tried our duels. So we don't have like days for testing. Otherwise, like you could probably make this somewhat competitive or a lot better than the way I did. So I think like the light swans were just bad. Like Wolf is just bricky, but you could definitely run like if you were allowed to play Punk Engine 2 elements, you could just play like a pure Chaos deck and just run Zefra as an engine in 60 cards. It wouldn't be the absolute worst because you have ways to get to your Zefra engine via Gallant Granite or sending Shadow Hedgehog off Curious and then adding Shadow Naga or the other Shadow Zephyr scale. So, yep, that was the match. So, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed that, then leave a comment, tell us what you'd like to see next, and thank you. Bye.